going on, people? Ross out here in Singapore, and as always, thank you so much for joining in tonight our podcast. I do appreciate all of your listening ears. It makes me feel really good to hear that all of you are enjoying the content so far. You guys, I really look forward to comments. I really look forward to the interactions, mostly because I pride myself on the one-to-one interaction, right? And as much as I would like to say that, I'm going to be this massive influencer or whatever, I don't know what the future holds, and I'm just playing it by ear. But one thing I did want to make sure that they spoke about is the fact that, you know what, it's important for you to stay committed to your decisions, but also stay flexible in your approach. So this is something that comes from Tony Robbins, and I like that so much because it makes me feel like I can have a goal and it doesn't have to be a moving target, but I don't have to be committed to one way of doing it. Now I can try the one way, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't mean I quit the goal entirely. It just means I try a new way and see if there's a better way to get to that place. The trial and error part of life is so crucial, and I feel like that's where we make most of our wisdom from, or gain most of our wisdom from. It's the fact that we took the chance, we put ourselves out there, tried something new and different, and at some point we were able to get to this place where things make more sense, or we found a better way to do things that we didn't consider before. So the flexibility in your approach is so important, because I feel like as we grow, technology improves, it changes the way things are being done, the trends that are happening, the things that you see are inspirational, like everything continually changes. So if you were stagnant in a ever-changing world, how are you supposed to survive? Why wouldn't you get just like trampled just by standing there, right? So as much as I have this idea of what impact would look like from my work, from my efforts, I don't know that the efforts that I'm making are always impactful. Let's, for example, talk about where I started, right? All the way back at the beginning. Okay, it's not that long ago, but all the way back at the beginning, I started off with just being in a WhatsApp group, talking to women from around the world who were trying to become coaches. And at the time, I didn't even know if I was going to become a coach. I was trying to become a regional vice president of this company, right? And I just got to know a lot of people and ended up finding out that, okay, maybe I understand emotional intelligence better than most, and so I should teach it because it feels like something I've been perfecting over several lifetimes. And so it didn't become this thing that was like taking effort from me. It was quite effortless, and I was seeing things that people didn't quite see. So from there, I took my love of quotes and put together my emotional intelligence, and I started teaching people whatever I could, however I could, just via conversation, where one of my mentors picked that up and said, hey, you know what? I would love for you to host a class every week at the same time on Periscope. Now, I took the opportunity. I said yes before I was ready. I did not want to be on camera, first of all. And then, of course, they picked a time slot that was impossible for me. Okay, not impossible. It was stupid. It was 6 o'clock in the morning for me because it's 6 o'clock in the evening in the States. So I was like, yeah, okay, fine. But that also means that I'm not going to get all dressed up for it. And I'm going to test the theory that, I can actually get on screen and teach something that might be worth listening to. So back then, no makeup, rolled out of bed onto a platform that I didn't understand. Periscope was attached to Twitter. I don't even know if it's around anymore. But back then, when I got into working on Periscope, it was kind of sleazy and creepy. There were a lot of I don't know, creepy people that would be lurking on Periscope, and they would join in and they would listen in and they would make inappropriate comments. But it was great training ground for me because the platform was ineffective. The audience was not there. And even though I did it weekly and the audience did grow, I had to get more and more people listening, I felt like what I was doing was not getting the impact. So the goal was impact, but the process, the strategy that I had in place did not work. Eventually I started doing, what did I do? I started doing guided meditations in a private Facebook group. And I started doing lives in a private Facebook group, and both of those things worked fairly well. But I still wasn't comfortable enough to get on my own page and talk about anything, because I felt like, who am I to talk about these things, right? The imposter syndrome was real. And if it's a small Facebook group, at least I've got some tenure because I was one of the first few people, that started with this company. And as more people came in, I became more mentor. And that was helpful to me. So then after all of that, I realized that I didn't really like video. I liked audio much more. And so I branched out and I tried this podcast, right? I did Facebook Live audio for a while until suddenly the option was no longer there. And from that moment on, I kind of got comfortable with my own thoughts and got comfortable speaking up about what I thought and believed. I got comfortable about, recording and documenting what I was doing, how I was doing it, how often I was doing it. And it kind of evolved into its own thing. The impact is still there, but the means to which I got that impact had changed significantly. And then, of course, I started adding written content, microblogs on Instagram, and so on down the path. And eventually, I started doing Instagram lives. I started doing classes on Instagram. I started doing daily doses on Twitter. Like, it's evolved. Now I'm doing more on many platforms that I find are a little bit more effective, but it took me a while to get to that place where I found what I was comfortable with and then was comfortable enough to push the envelope and do something further, like do something better. Like the next thing that's coming down the pike is actually pre-recorded classes that I can offer so that people don't feel like they have to do one-on-one with me in order to in order to learn what it is that I'm trying to teach, in order to grasp the concepts that I find help me live and breathe easier. So it's been quite the challenge, quite the adventure. But I like what Tony Robbins says about being committed to your decisions. So my decision was to create an impact. My decision was to help make people's lives easier because I think emotional intelligence is really, really helpful. But in order to be flexible about the approach, I had to kind of learn the hard way. I kind of had to be rigid and be like, no, this is the way things are being done because this is the way everyone else is doing it. This is the way the successful people are doing it. I'm going to do it this way. And then when I tried it, I realized it doesn't work. But what I had to be very honest about was, did I put in my entire effort? Was I really showing up the way that everyone else is showing up? Once I got honest with myself, I could see that, okay, this particular thing may work, but it doesn't work for me. So what works for me? I can't be anybody but myself. I can't be Tony Robbins. I can't be Mastin Kipp or Brene Brown. I can't be Michael Jackson or Will Smith. I gotta be me. So it became this idea that I had to figure out who I was, what I'm capable of, what makes me me, what's marketable about me and my experiences, and then find my voice from there. So it's been quite the adventure, and it's been so much easier to just do it as me rather than follow these Fortune 500 companies, these get rich quick schemes, 30 days to 30,000, like all of that shit. It's great and everything, but I need to think about long term. The impact will be there. I know it will, because I'm being real about what I'm sharing. I'm being honest about what I think at the moment, and I'm leaving myself open for constructive criticism or judgment, it doesn't matter, because at some point I'm sure my viewpoint will change as I get more information and see more of the story itself. But me being flexible has given me less anxiety, less stress, less fear of the unknown, and I'm able to deal with change so much better. So if I have to leave you with anything, I want you to take this away from this particular podcast. Learning to be flexible, whether it's decisions about business, decisions about relationships, whatever. Learning to be flexible has perhaps been the biggest skill set that I had to conquer because I was full of fear and scared of change and was not ready to be told I was wrong. And the more often it happened because I was resisting, the faster I had to learn to get flexible. Let me put it to you this way. When I had kids, I thought I could tell them what the plan was for the day and it would go off without a hitch. Guess what? Nothing ever goes to plan. If you want to make God laugh, tell him what your plans are. He'd be like, yeah, okay, we'll see about that. But I would do things like, okay, today we're going to go to the movies, we're going to go to the grocery store, we're going to come back home and chill. And it would be stupid things like something happened at the last minute. We were out the door and suddenly my daughter had to run into the bathroom because her stomach was upset or whatever. And half an hour later, we've missed the movie opening. And then she'd be upset with me because I didn't plan well enough for her to get what she wanted because I'd gotten her hopes up about the plan itself. So eventually what I would do is I would be like, all right, we're going out today. And they'd be like, oh my God, where are we going? What are we doing? I said, I don't know, but are you coming with me or not? So at that point it became, okay, blank slate, but we are leaving the house. So it doesn't matter when we leave the house or where we need to be at what time. It was very, very flexible, like super flexible. So that if anything happened along the way, I managed the plan internally, and then we just get to wherever we're going because they have no expectations now. They have no idea what we're supposed to be doing or when. They don't know that, maybe we're supposed to meet somebody and they pull out at the last minute and then they don't have to be disappointed with that either. I don't have to deal with calming them down. We can just have a good time because we're all of us together, right? So being flexible has been by far my greatest asset because I don't feel like I'm stuck in any one plan. I don't feel like I'm obligated to anyone for anything. I don't have to rush the clock. I don't have to squeeze my time. I can actually enjoy the process a little bit more. And that's been, God, that's been life-saving, life-changing to me. And I would love for you guys to experience that. But first, you need to understand that just because you have a decision to make or a goal to get to doesn't mean it has to be one way to get there. Honestly, the flexibility really, really helps. And the more you're flexible in all of your life, it means the less expectations you have, the easier you bounce back from change. And basically, a less complicated life means more peace. And yo, I'm down with that. You know what I'm saying? So I hope you guys understand. You have any questions, comments, drop them down below. I want to hear from you. But in the meantime, think about that flexibility thing. See how you can add more flexibility into your life, because I swear it'll change everything. Your physiology will change. Your capacity for clarity will change. It would be great. It would be really helpful to you. And that's all I want. I want you to have an easeful, peaceful life. Seriously. All right, you guys, I love you, and I'll catch you soon. Bye.